Hey everybody, Pat and Doug here with another episode of the Wealthy Gym Owners, and today we're talking brand guarantee, that powerful kind of front door that's attractive to get people into your business. So Doug, fire away, get us started here.
Yeah, this is something fairly new for us as far as new and I would say the last couple of years, like we never really had a guarantee. And I didn't really pay much attention to it for several years. And then there was that kind of messy middle where I knew about it. I had it, but wasn't really like doing anything with it, right? And so just to kind of label what I'm referring to with this is, first of all, we can use like an outside example because I think if anytime we use examples outside the fitness industry, for me, anyways, it's always super helpful. So, the Domino's pizza chain, right? They had a guarantee that was something along the lines of, it's delivered in 30 minutes or it's free, right? Now, they ran into some issues with that because they couldn't then deliver on the guarantee, which is a lesson, followed up with that. But my point is that was super powerful when the pain point was, hey, I don't want to have to wait more than 30 minutes for pizza, right? It wasn't actually the pizza quality that they were guaranteeing, it was the speed of delivery. And so what are you guaranteeing? An industry example, probably the one that I think does it the best, is our partner in the soon to be franchise and awesome operator, Graham out in Indy. He's got 4 locations and he's sports performance only. And his guarantee is your child will gain 3 inches on their vertical and a mile per hour in their speed in 30 sessions or it's free. So I think again, like the statement is the first part, right? You got to make it a statement. We can unpack it further from that, but coming up with that really powerful statement that resonates with your particular client is where I would kick this off with.
Yeah, I think Graham's done an incredible job with this because he was able to hit on hot buttons that were really important, kind of topical. I mean, I don't want to belittle it by saying buzzwords or I mean, true hot buttons for the target market that they want to serve, right? Everybody wants to get faster in most of the sports, court sports especially. The vertical leap piece of this is incredibly powerful. And he had aspirational targets, but attainable within the time frame he was promising, right? And so he knows he's got enough sample size, enough data to say, somebody comes 30 times, we're going to be able to deliver on this. And I think that's incredible, right? I think that's such a powerful way to do this. Now, I'll even go back to one that a lot of the fitness industry knows. They probably don't really know where it originated. Jim Launch and Alex Hormozi really kind of popularized this whole lose 20 in 6. Well, Alex Hormozi was an apprentice for my late friend and client Sam Bakhtiar, who I helped Sam license and ultimately franchise his training business. And his training business grew from one location as a side hustle. He had a one-on-one training business, and I vividly remember carrying equipment from the Perform Better in Long Beach to his car so he could launch a boot camp at the same facility. And that became location number one in what ultimately turned into a 9-figure annual empire, all built on this really simplistic promise of lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks and it's free. Now there was some bait and switch with the free component of this, obviously, because there's a deposit, and then they would strongly encourage you to flip the deposit into an ongoing subscription. But that offer, I watched gym after gym grow, replicate, people going from one location to 3, 4, 5 locations in a year, off of that brand guarantee. And that tells you how powerful this sort of thing can be. But it's kind of like, what's the old adage with, with great anything requires great responsibility, right? Like, so, I mean, Graham, I think, has done it the right way and said, okay, I know I can deliver on this. There's no trickiness to it. And I think it's a great representative. It's a welcome mat for his business. But, a lot of people are familiar with this and they understand how it can work.
Yeah. Yeah. So, certainly step one is figuring out what your guarantee is going to be. It can be something measurable, like we used for Graham, or Sam's, 20 and 6, or it can be, like a love it or leave it. That's what we use because we found we did used to have a more measurable kind of strength and body fat related to the Gen Pop, and we found that at least in Gen Pop in our market, they weren't necessarily coming in with concrete goals as much as we thought, and they were more just nervous if it was going to be a good fit. And so we do a very simple 28-day love it or leave it. Within the first 28 days, if you don't love it, you can leave it, get your money back. So that's what we use for a guarantee. Now, coming up with a guarantee and having a guarantee is step one, but and this is where I fell into, is like, okay, I had the guarantee, and then it kind of just sat there and didn't. It's kind of like what people that put core values on the wall. It's like, that's great, but you gotta infuse it. So I think that the next thing to talk about would be, how do you infuse your guarantee into your culture, into your community, and everywhere. So for what we see work really well, obviously in all of your marketing copy, you're referring to it, right? So any of your ads, it's on, like, if you go on Graham's website, it's the first thing on the top of his website. And so everywhere you go to see your brand, it's almost, think of it as like the what might be the tag. It's not a tagline, but where the tagline would go of a business, kind of that sub headline is where the guarantee is. So certainly getting it in your messaging, all of your different messaging platforms is a great place to start. The other place I would make sure we hit on is, you got to make sure that the team, if you have a team, is bought into the guarantee and understands the guarantee and talks about the guarantee, and that it's really part of the culture. And then as you move forward, it would be the sales process, which we can talk about next. But those are the key areas where we got to make sure the team has to know about it and kind of definitely believe in it. Make sure they're in agreement with it, and then it's got to be infused in all of your marketing.
Well, I will tell you, one of the things that I have fought for 20 years with people when it came to trying to encourage them to employ a guarantee is this kind of scarcity mindset. Well, somebody's going to take advantage of me. Somebody's going to, you know, ask for their money back. And I'm like, good, right? Because not everybody's a good fit. And if we do a good job with the distribution of this offer and we make this guarantee appealing, some people are going to be wrong, right? Like, some people are not going to be a great fit. Some people are not going to show up for all 30 sessions and deliver the effort that you want or do it in the time frame you want. Some people are going to join your facility for 28 days and 2 weeks in and be like, nah, it's not for me. And I think that's okay because we have control over the experience. We have control over the environment. We're able to put our best foot forward and get them out of the market. Now we're being judged on who we actually are and what we do versus what's out there in an ad that we can convey in like 75 words in an image or something. So I think you have to be okay with the fact that we're not for everybody, but this gives us a better opportunity to showcase who we are for.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the way I think about it with that is like, let's say that you're gonna not have a guarantee because you're afraid people are going to take advantage of it. Just using anecdotal numbers, you might get five people to raise your hand from your marketing. You put a guarantee in, and now you might get 10 people. Even if two or three opt out, you're still up from what you would have gotten without a guarantee. So it's, do you want 10 to end up with eight, or do you want five that maybe will also stick, right? So certainly have it there, certainly have it infused. Um, and then, the guarantee should be a differentiator in the marketplace too, because for the reason you just mentioned, a lot of brands are afraid to have a guarantee. And so, your health club in town most likely doesn't have a guarantee. The CrossFit down the street doesn't probably have a guarantee, right? So your competitors in your local market are not talking about a guarantee. And from a client's end or a prospect's end, the reason for a guarantee is for one reason only, which is risk reversal, right? I want to do this thing, but for a kid, I don't know how I'm going to get results. For a parent, I don't know if it's going to be safe and effective. For a Gen Pop, I don't know if I'm going to like it. I don't know if I'm going to get hurt, right? There's all these hesitations that come into it, and it's often, I know as business owners, we think it's price, but it's very often not the price. It's all those other things that they're hesitant about. And so what they're really trying to make sure is this a good fit? And so your guarantee, when positioned in a strong way and kind of immersed from all the way through from marketing to sales process, really removes all of that risk, because now there truly is no risk. Because I don't say no risk. There's the risk of their time, right? Like they're going to have to show up and do the work and see if they like it. But they know they can get their money back. They know they're not locked into a contract. There's all of those pieces that, if they go sign somewhere else, they're not going to have that guarantee.
Yeah, I think that in an ever increasingly competitive marketplace, it's such a powerful differentiator, right? Because it's harder to get people's attention, it's harder to maintain their attention and differentiate yourself, before somebody comes in, because everybody has access to AI, everybody has access to Facebook ads. They can all distribute marketing in a variety of ways on a variety of platforms. The differentiator is getting them through the front door. And so if we can get them through the front door, that's when we're going to put our best foot forward anyway. So I think this is kind of a missing link for a lot of people who do good work, but maybe not enough people know about the good work they do.
Yeah. Yep. Last note I'll make is, you talk about getting them in the door. So you got them in the door, right? And when you're sitting at the table with them and they're making that buying decision, we have to make sure that I'm going to assume that they did not see my guarantee, right? I'm going to assume that, which means I need to make sure that I talk about it at the end. So, and maybe even throughout, right? So if I'm sensing some kind of hesitation throughout the appointment, throughout the consultation, I'll continue to reinforce the 28-day lever to leave it. And then most importantly, when I present the option that I recommend for them, so if I'm recommending our twice a week membership, I'm going to, and we have it as like an icon on our price sheet in the corner. It's an icon, a graphic of the 28-day lever to leave it. So I can literally, point a pen and show them, this is backed by our 28-day lever to leave it guarantee. So if you decide it's not a good fit within the first 28 days, come see us and we'll cancel your membership, give you your money back. No questions asked. So if you don't present it at the sales table, all that effort you put in to build it and market it and infuse it kind of gets lost. So just make sure that you role play and really, I'm not going to say push it, but enforce it and stress it to the client that this is legit, this is true. You kind of have to put some oomph behind it, I think, to make sure it sits with the client when they're making that decision.
Awesome. Well, again, I think this is a golden opportunity for a lot of people. I know a lot of our clients are starting to adopt it, and I can't wait to see how much impact it has. So appreciate you kind of sharing what you guys are doing. And that's another episode of the Wealthy Gym Owners signing off.